of challenge to us.
You've spoken about the FIFA Connect system and then registering 5 of your juvenile clubs onto the system. Quite apart from that, what are your plans for the juvenile teams? Because they are obviously the future of the district football or the district's football. What are your plans for them? And then do you have a development plan, say in the next, say, 5 to 10 years? Where do you hope to, or what do you hope to have achieved by then with juvenile football, especially because they are the future?
Juvenile, grassroots juvenile football, they are just, let me see, the engine or backbone of any football environment. If you want to grow and you don't have these structures, you don't have future. Starting as a young district, our first competition for the district, our focus was on the juvenile because we want to get it right. And we play the competition to cover the key juvenile units, the 13, the 15, and then the 17. These were the units that played the competition. And because of time factor, we couldn't play our Division 3. We could have organized only Division 3 to play, but we want to get our route right so that we can concentrate, we can do transitions to bring about development even in the 3rd division. So we're actually putting plans in place. In the just under juvenile league, I think we tasked the committee, the juvenile committee, the technical committee to at least identify talents at every category. And I think we have that database. We have that database where when the season ends, we can also bring all these boys together. We should have a database of our juvenile players. Bring them together, train them. When football academies are reaching out to regions, trying to go and scout for juvenile players, we can also call them on board. And when we are calling them, we have our database. Then we know the players we have selected from every category, from the various clubs within the districts. They all come together to play. So we intend organizing a capacity building program, just not on only the administration, but the coaching aspect. We just organize a mini coaching seminar, just a coaching course just for some few days, just an organizational training session. You see, we have also done some stakeholder engagement within the various communities. We engage the chiefs and stakeholders that matter to see the need for them to help clubs, to help their own to become people in future. Football is a profession. Just as the child in school, you are pushing to become a doctor. If the child says, I want to play football, then you give the child that platform, push the child. Now it goes in line with school. But don't discourage the child not to play football. The football can even send the player far. When we are mentioning rich people in the world today, we will mention them. Okay, and most of the good players that we have in this country all started as juvenile players. Even in our district, talents that we have developed so far, who are making it at a higher level, they all started as juvenile players. If you don't get it right at the juvenile, if you don't get it right at the root, you will fail. You will fail. You will not get the best. You will not have the quality. Okay, sure. So I think just organizing a coaching program to guide these people how to coach these boys. Okay, encouraging their managers or stakeholders within the country to support their clubs with equipment, footballs, more training equipment will be the key to their development. Sure. And then we are on course with that. We even off season, you see most of our juvenile clubs still playing friendlies. Sure. So the juvenile is actually the key, and it is not easy there, but that is also one of the hallmarks of our administration, is to see our juvenile football grow.
Okay. Thank you very much. So this has been Matrix Sports. We'll go for a short break. We'll be right back. So, Mr. Rahman, I'd like you to tell us about the challenges you've faced so far in your tenure, things that are hampering the development of the district.
Thank you. In everything that you do, challenges are inevitable. We can't do away with challenges. Challenges will always be there, but there should always be a way out of how these challenges can be managed. I think we need to be thinking about how we're managing these challenges. And I think one of our key challenges has to do with transformation of minds. And I'm simply talking about thinking football, thinking the real football, but not the fun type of football, but the real football, which is like an institution on its own, governed by rules. I think we are talking about understanding football in this direction. That has been our challenge as a district. And I think our other challenges, resources, clubs, even training equipment for some clubs has always been a challenge. They don't have training equipment. You made mention about pitches. That's why I just said resources. All this poses a lot of challenge. Sometimes in a league, we can't be playing only tournaments, but we need to be traveling from one community to other to go and play. Most of those clubs are having challenges, moving from one community to another. How to mobilize resources to go there has also been posing a lot of challenge to our young district. Sometimes some of the communities during some seasons are not motorable. There are places that cannot be accessed, especially during rainy seasons. But the club will have to travel to all those areas to play matches. I think we have challenges, and some of them are not just challenges in line with football, but they are challenges from elsewhere that has come to affect football. So for those challenges, we will have to try to adjust. We will have to try to adjust. So key things: transformation of minds, understanding the game, resources.
Okay, so that's fine. So on a more lighter side, how do your players call you? Like, how do they call you to say,
I think
yeah? How do they call you?
we are interacting as I'm interacting with you as an administrator, as a district football association chairman,
Yes, sure.
but not as a coach. So
I do understand. I do
they
understand.
call me coach. Let me get with
All
you.
right, that's fine. So to end the whole thing, I'd like you to look at the camera and talk to your personal fans, talk to the fans of STK Stars FC, and then talk to potential stakeholders or potential investors in the region to tell them how you feel or what you think must be done to help the district grow.
Football generally has a lot of structures. You can't take any of them out. The fans out there, you come to the field, you support in Davis with, you shout, you criticize destructively and constructively, but you are all part of the game. If I'm talking about destructively, you sometimes criticize in a positive way, criticize in a negative way, but you are all very important. You are important. We keep telling our clubs that fans are important, and I think that our education about understanding the game has reached out to our fans to make the game look more beautiful. So I just want to make a humble appeal that football is not only about players and coaches. Players are there, coaches are there, club management, they are there. Supporters or the spectators also play a role. Officiating officer, referees, they are also there. So the structures are many. So the fans out there are very important. Some of you don't come to the field. You don't come to the field to watch the game, but you call players, you call us to ask of resource. You sound emotional. You are always in a sad mood when we don't get results. It shows that you have passion for the game. But let us ask ourselves, what roles do we have to play? After listening to this interview, we have mentioned some of our challenges. So in the midst of all this, I think as for ideas and solutions, they don't belong to one man. We are human beings, and we don't all have the same mind. We don't all think the same. So on the basis of all this that we have mentioned, cherished listeners, I think that you can also think outside the box, come out with an idea. You can give us a suggestions on some of our challenges that can bring about improvement. If you know probably every individual person is having a network. I was listening to a friend today who said, at least on our phones, we have contacts on our phones. If you have 50 contacts on your phone, it's not just only a phone that you are holding. You are holding a phone and 50 people. Sure. That is what we call that kind of network. Sure. I think it can follow. These are the rules that people who are not directly involved in football, but they want to be part of football, these are the areas they can also contribute. Okay, they can link up people that matter. Okay, they can engage us. They can engage us to understand how football stand to benefit what they are doing. Somebody thinks that, why should I invest my money to support football? What do I stand to gain if I spend my money? Okay, I think there should be a medium for us to explain to them how football can benefit. If we are talking about sponsors in the world over, if we want the sponsors, you can trace most of them around these football clubs. That is what you can trace.
So you're saying there should be a medium for you to explain to them. So this is the medium. So tell them why you think they should sponsor or why you think they should come on board.
Any business that want to grow needs numbers. Sure. And areas that we can get numbers. You cannot count 1, 2, 3 without mentioning football in this world. Sure. These are the areas we can always get numbers. Sure. So people who are into the sales of consumables like maybe soft drinks and so for instance, you could see these restaurants sponsoring people. Okay, we have restaurants in town. There are many ways of doing that. The fact that you even support a club with a branded jersey, then they go to play a match, even with that name, okay, people will ask, where is these people are sponsoring this? So in one way or the other, you are advertising what the place is all about. Okay, the clubs can have a medium, if you are able to support them, okay, of advertising you through. Anytime they have to talk about sports, they talk about their sponsors. Okay, what they do, you are creating people's mind through football about this particular business. Okay, to see how once you sponsor, you will not just sponsor and lose. I think there are numerous ways that football can also help businesses to grow. Okay, we will have to think of how their support will benefit us and benefit them, but they should also be thinking about areas or gatherings that bring numbers, and football is one of them. Okay, so at the appropriate time, it's not everything that we can just say, but sure, we'll put in some paper, engage those that matter, then see how we'll all help each other.
All right. So all too soon, we have come to the end of our interview with Mr. Rahman, Mr. Al Hassan Abdul Rahman Yarba, the District Football Association Chairman for STK. Mr. Rahman, thank you very much for having us, and it's been a pleasure.
You're welcome.
So this has been Matrix Sport. Sharif Matrix is on TikTok, and then on Instagram is Sharif Matrix. Then on Facebook is Matrix Sports. On YouTube is Matrix Sports. Yakob on Twitter it's at Sharif Yakob. It's been an honor. Thank you very much for having us, for being with us, for sticking and staying.